What's going on YouTube? This is Chaos Rain here, and in this video I will be showing you a build showcase. So I'm going to start off with defenses here. Here we have a physical damage reduction 34, evade 35. We do not have a lot of stats here, but we do have 100% spell suppress with 56% of it being prevented, as well as the node that makes spell suppress lucky. We have 81, 82, 81, and then 75 for chaos res. We are res capped. Our offense is pretty solid. We do have 100% chance to hit, 92 for evasive monsters. We have up to 80% crit chance and 318 crit multi, so we do have a pretty decent multiplier. Our tooltip is showing 212k DPS, which is not including the pen. Pen usually doesn't calculate into DPS in this game, unless they changed it, which I'm pretty sure they didn't. I don't know. Either way, then our gear is just a decent pair of crafted gloves. We do have T1 spell suppress and aspect of the cat. I only have level 20 aspect of the cat on both pairs of my gloves that I crafted. I need level 30. I can put a level 30 on one of my gloves, but I will have to make a brand new pair, unfortunately. So there's that fun. That's gonna have to happen eventually. That being said, we have Fruity's Veil, 2+2 socketed cold gems. In it we have Flesh and Stone, Hatred, Hell Device, and Enlighten. Enlighten is +2 levels, so it gets a multiplier minus to 80%. We do have our Magic Ring, which is T1 life. I did divine it and failed to get max roll, but it's whatever. And then I have a Utmost, Mage Blood, Chain, Void Fletch. You can go with one arrow. Chain is just because it was cheap. It was so cheap. I got this really cheap. I crafted this ring for pretty much nothing. It's mainly for the Chaos Res. I end up settling for T1 Life Chaos Res, and then the accuracy at the time I needed it, so it's whatever. This is just a Pepega ring that I was like, whatever, I'll use it. Unfortunately, if I take it off, I can't use my gloves, so I gotta be careful with that. I don't have anything crazy in my gloves. I do have the last duration support for aspect, so I do have to keep that in mind. So I need to go back here and go, boom, aspect. Yeah, cool. We have a Fizzbow. This was a relatively cheap Fizzbow. It was just fractured 2 arrows, and then they just like kind of crafted it to work. Essentially, essenced it till they got a T1 or Tier 2 hybrid, and they just chosen to, round it off. It's not bad. It works. It does the job for everything I needed to do. We have a 2120 Val Eye Shot. Val Eye Shot is our single target. You end up summoning a bunch of archers. I'll show you in the map that I'm about to do. Cold Pin, LE damage with attacks, Inspiration, Awaken added cold, and Awaken Chain. I do have a level 5 chain. I actually need a quality this one, so I guess you guys get to see me quality a gem that I forgot to quality. So let's just go ahead and do that. Goodbye, GCPs. I knew you well. Boom. Alright, cool. We do have, obviously, Dark Ray Vectors. We're sitting at 7 Frenzies, 3 Endurance. I do want to corrupt Dark Ray Vectors to get an Endurance charge, but right now I'm corrupting for profit. That's how I made, if you saw my other video, that's how I basically purchased what I had. I have my other version of the build, which is this. This is just like, I want to zoom in T1 maps using Nature's Reprisal, Flesh and Flame with Original Sin and the Shrine Mask, so I can my cost is reduced and whatnot. So there's that. Then I have, let's see, we have Forbidden Flame with Oath of Winter and Flash with Oath of Winter, obviously. Excuse me, sorry about that. Now we do have our standard bow tree. We're taking a Lion Eye Fall. This is how we're getting our Corrupted Bud immunity because it's super cheap. This only cost me like 30 chaos or 40 chaos if I remember right. It might have been a little more, I don't know. And Yeah, we're taking all the normal bow nodes that you would take with a fall. We have the full bow wheel, and we have a bow cluster. So we're scaling as much bow damage as possible. We have a little bit of extra life here, 2700 life. It's not that great, but it's also not that bad considering all our defense layers. We do have cast when damage taken, 3 endurance charges, and we have the Viridi's Veil, which makes it so we just can't be crit. We are officially immune to curses, and we are res capped. We do have a bunch of movement speed going, so we can go a little bit zoomy if we want to. It's not that fast, but I do have automation support. Unfortunately, your automation support will consume your efficiency charges because you're using phase run, but it's fine. In my testing, like the damage drop is barely noticeable because you just rotate so fast into it that it refreshes. It goes like to 4 and refreshes. So I do have onslaught, so that's cool. But the onslaught is only during part of the effect, so you do have to keep that in mind. You can have like an onslaught duration, or you can have other sources of onslaught if you want. But yeah, oops, I already did this map. So let's go ahead and do a quick showcase. This is the same farm that I was telling you about before, and I'm going to show you exactly, how I basically farmed this insane amount of currency I did. As you see here, we have a Locust Tier 2 available to us, and we decided to switch out one Scarab, which was this one, for the Scarab of the Timeless, which can drop a temple. So let's just go ahead and do a quick map showcase about this. I'm not going to do it Delirious because Delirium is just inherently rippy for a quick bow build like Ice Shot. There are a lot of just random variables that can kind of make it so you die for no reason. So we're just going to do it not Delirious this time. I do have the possibility of dropping Delirious maps, which means like eventually I can do them, so it's fine. Let's see. I'll do Tempest Generator for this one. As you see, we still instantly clear out a lot of the trash mobs. The rares, that was a little bit sketch. The rares are something else. You do have to like sit there. Now these guys may be a little tanky. It's not that tanky. It's just point blank him to death and he's dead. I do have point blank on the tree if you saw. Now, because we have a lot of the different sources of damage reduction, we're pretty solid on just kind of like going through and point blanking enemies. Let's see. It's just. Oh, I don't have one. That's why. Oh, maybe there's one over here. That was the single target. I didn't need to, but I just decided to use it. Foul Shot has a relatively short cooldown, and usually you only need to kill like one pack to get enough souls. If you have your map juiced enough, you need to kill 0 packs. I was going to make a um, Hate Forge variant of the Valai Shot, where I just constantly have rage and have that big damage multiplier. But I felt like that would be a little bit too hard to do. Um, Probably not. Hate Forge isn't that expensive, and I can probably figure it out, but I just didn't want to really sweat it that much. I just wanted to chill and map, and I feel like Hate Forge is one of those things that you gotta really know what you're doing and build around. Now, as you saw, we are taking shrines, so we're going to take all the shrines we can. We don't have the goal, so we don't have the extra duration. It's fine. We still have a minute on our shrines, and we still get a fair amount of loot and drops from these maps, so. And it doesn't look like we hit the corruption chamber and or a gem chamber. It's a little bit of a shame, but it's fine. Alright, what is this? There we go. Now, because of our Oath of Winter, we actually freeze enemies for a minimum of 2 seconds. Any freeze that is 0.35 or lower does not freeze at all. We are critting and we have a very high amount of DPS, so we will be freezing things and they will be frozen for a minimum of 2 seconds. Oath of Winter also states that if they're not frozen, then they get a stack of whatever, I forgot what it's called, but it's one of the it's specifically for Oath of Winter, and when they freeze, which eventually they will, unless they just cannot be frozen, of course, they will then have their freeze increase the duration. So we can have up to 8-second freezes or 9-second freezes. It's pretty crazy if it stacks up that way, but like for the most part, nothing even survives long enough, aside from like big map bosses or something, uh, to be frozen that long, and the map bosses usually just get bursted down anyway. So we have the single target to easily take care of map bosses and the clear to take care of everything else. So we're not really sweating much right now. Like this is just a casual mapper, and this is what I do whenever I'm you know wanting to basically. Oh, we got the locusts now, so now we're just gonna go ahead and take the room. Go ahead and clear all the way up to the boss. This guy's a little annoying, but it's fine. Use my Val Eye shot for single target. Single target him down. Basically, you summon a firing squad of a bunch of little skeletons. They all shoot your ice shot, and they all have the same freeze effect and effect you do. So you just essentially keep something indefinitely frozen until they die. It's it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I have killed a lot of bosses with it. There are obviously bosses that have the tag cannot be fully slowed, and if they have that tag, you just like it says, you can't freeze them. You can chill them, but you cannot freeze them. You can get them 30% reduction, all that other stuff of action speed. Now there are other things you can do. You can get them to like a 5% action speed if you use like Enfeeble. So one of our curses is cast when damage taken Enfeeble, and that um, oh, sorry, Tim Chains. Uh, whenever it was Tim Chains, it's now Enfeeble. Um, Tim Chains will get their action speed even lower, and you can get them to like a 1% action speed of their normal, which they're still going to be able to hit you, but they're going to be able to hit you very slowly. Um, there are also enemies who are just resistance against being slowed, so you have to be a little careful. Obviously, if you have increased effect of map modifiers and you have the mod on your map that says, "Hey, enemies have element you know, resistance," then you basically have a chance to break your map because you cannot freeze anymore. So there is that downside, but that's like only if you hyperjuice your maps. And honestly, if at the point you're still relying on freeze while hyperjuicing your map, you should probably worry about something else. uh, this is not a T17 mapper. I haven't really done too many, but the ones I have done, they're just slightly too strong for me to take care of. A lot of them have the tag cannot be fully slowed, so I can't do a whole lot to them. I can kill them and freeze them and chill them. Eventually, I can freeze them, that is, and mostly chill them. But yeah. So that was our last temple. Let's see if we got a corruption chamber. We got Catalyst of Corruption Tier 2. Now, what I like to do is keep some temples that have cool stuff in it. Oh, looks like someone's buying something for me. I should have probably D&D'd, but it's fine. Um, welcome welcome this guy to the party, and let's go ahead and make some chaos. This temple, unfortunately, is not very good, but let's go ahead and do this trade. So he wants a flask. This flask. Trade. All right, let's go back in here. So as you saw, we didn't drop a corruption chamber off of that, but we do have a corruption chamber available to us. So we have one more map, and it can drop something cool. So let's go ahead and kill this map boss very quickly. And as I said, you literally just freeze things, and they just die. And with that, that is a showcase of my current ice shot build. As you saw, the map boss was frozen for like ever. Anyway, as always, take it easy, everyone. Have a good one, and good luck in your gambles.